Hi, this is Jenny Bloom. I teach yoga in New York City and I also teach meditation, which is a type of yoga. I'm making this video for you today to share with you a little bit about what meditation is about in my practice and my lineage, which is ISHTA Yoga. So in ISHTA we talk about Raja Yoga and the 8 limbs of the Ashtanga Yoga, which are the 8 different paths, 8 different steps or paths to the state of samadhi, which is the state of oneness. So I'm going to share a little bit about the practice we're going to do today. So in our practice of meditation, what we're doing is we're moving inwards. We're allowing our focus, which typically is moving in a million different directions very, very fast. We're taking that awareness and that attention that goes normally into the senses world. What do I see? What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I feel? And what do I hear? Normally, we're thinking mostly about our senses and what comes in through the senses. That's most of what we do in our lives. We interact with that sensory information, we process it, and we come up with thoughts or ideas, we take action, but mostly based on what our senses are telling us. So what is different about meditation and what we're going to have a chance to practice a little bit of today is how we can take these senses, which are normally out in the world and going in a million different directions. How can we take that experience and that facility, that power, and move it inwards so that we can have an inner experience of what is within us, this inner kingdom, as my teacher Alan Finger says. There are so many different flows of energy that are happening inside of our bodies in every moment. And normally when our focus is out in the world, we can't really feel into the body because our focus is outwards. So in meditation, what we're doing is we're taking that focus that's normally outwards and we're turning it inwards. So the first step in Raja Yoga is called Pratyahara, which means sense-withdrawal. We draw in with the senses. So we're going to do a little bit of a practice to draw the senses inwards. Even just closing your eyes can start to have this effect. So if it feels okay for you, why don't you try that now? Just let your hands come to the tops of your thighs. Let your chin come down towards your chest. Let your eyes close. If that doesn't feel right for you, you can just let your focus be soft on the floor. Just let yourself start to feel into the seat, the place where you're sitting. Just notice what it feels like to invite a heaviness into your seat. You might notice the sitting bones feeling as if weights, little weights, were attached to the sitting bones, which are at the base. The sitting bones are what we sit on. You might notice that as you just simply have your eyes closed and invite your attention into those sitting bones, something starts to happen. You might start to notice sensations in your body, or you might start to notice thoughts that are starting to bubble up as you sit. Just notice for a few more moments what happens simply by closing the eyes and inviting your attention to your seat. And then let your chin come towards your chest. Let your eyes start to open and take in a point on the floor. And then let your eyes come back up. You can take a little bit of an adjustment. You might stretch. You might notice something little maybe changed, maybe shifted. Just take stock again of how you're feeling. This is a practice today of Pratyahara. So good job. You practiced one of the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. Tune in next time and we'll talk about the next step after Pratyahara. What comes next? Scenes from coming attractions. What we do in this practice is as we draw in, we start to allow ourselves to focus on the central cord of intelligence that runs from the crown of the head to the base of the spine. And when we start to draw our attention in towards the central cord of energy, running from the crown of the head to the base, we start to come into our own balance. It's already happening all of the time. And so what can be so powerful about a meditation practice, especially a meditation practice that invites you into the kriyas, which are the movements of subtle energy. Kriya literally means action, but when we understand action in terms of the kriya techniques, we're tuning to what is the actions that are happening in our system all the time. So simply by allowing ourselves to tune into what's already happening on the inside in this subtle body that exists within us. The physical body is the most gross, this is my arm, physical. But right within that, there's a subtle body that's more energetic in nature, that's less dense, but that still exists just as much as this arm exists. And it's within that experience of this is my arm that I can have an experience of my subtle body. And that experience of subtle body allows for a reorienting of the mental body, this mind body that gets so drawn into what is happening around us. And as we learn how to reorient to our subtle body and feel what's happening in that subtle body, we can start to reorient to our lives, reorient to our relationships, reorient to the whole world and what's happening in the whole world. And it's an organic process. It's not about believing something. This is not a religion. It's a practice. Yoga is a practice. And yoga doesn't simply mean like being like super stretchy or like flexible or like having really great abs. Those things can come for some people, but that's not the point of yoga. The point of yoga, if you were to think about it in that sort of way, would be coming into this experience of oneness and all of the steps along the path in that process. So I'm so happy to share this wisdom with you today. Thank you for joining me, and stay tuned because next time we'll talk about the next stage. Namaste. Also, if you like this video, subscribe by clicking that little red link below this video. And I'm always happy for connection and talking. If you have any questions about your yoga practice, any questions about the subtle body or what I'm talking about, I'd love to connect with you. So have a wonderful day. Namaste.